All right, and I think we're recording now. So, hello everyone. It is good to be back. It has been a really long time since I've casted one of these games. So, today I played a couple of games with the Hades goat, FireFox. Actually, I should probably call him a set goat as well at this point, since he beat me with it. But, anyways, I played a few games with FireFox today, and I'm gonna be casting two of those games. One, we've got a Hades versus Susanu on Elysium, and another one is a Uranus versus Hades on I'm forgetting the map. I'm like 90% sure it was Savannah. So these are going to be some fun games. So Hades versus Susanu is a matchup that is extremely dependent on how you open up the game as the Hades player. So if you give Susanu a lot of space and just like sit back, it is extremely Susanu favored, I believe, especially on a map like this. But if you can exert some really good early pressure, which 320 advance, FireFox is doing just that, you can do a lot of damage to Susanu and to Japan in general. Especially to Susanu and to noob players that go Inari Okami instead of the other one, which gives Shrine of the Hunt. So clearly big noobs. But yes, technically this is the better minor god, I suppose. But it does open you up to a lot of early game aggression, which FireFox seems to be doing perfectly at this point. And there is the Achilles. So this was basically some attempts to kind of prevent the myth unit and the heroes from getting onto my gold villagers. Not very successful, I should mention. And over here, my villagers got stuck, but luckily he pulled the Minotaur back. Otherwise, those were going to be 3 dead villagers right there, and probably game over at that point. So, what I thought was going to be a good building placement turned out to kind of hurt me potentially. But it worked out fine. I think I lost, what was it, 1 villager? I wasn't paying attention. 1 villager and the Yorogumo, the spider lady. And that's gonna be another dead villager and a dead Miko and a lot of idle time. So this is what I'm talking about. If the Japanese player goes for the Inari Okami, you can get a lot of early damage done. A lot. Now if this was Shrine of the Hunt, he would not be able to get a lot of damage done. You can see just this idle time. Like, I advanced a bit late as well, simply because when you're versus FireFox, you don't really know what he's gonna do. So I managed to get some counter damage over here, picked 1 villager off, but I should... Okay, good. Was gonna be a bit upset if I just let them die there. And the minute... Oh man, this is so hard to deal with. And another dead? Is that gonna die as well? Oh, that's another dead villager. I'm so far behind at this point. Look at my eco. 003. That's insane. And I don't even have enough food to be making villagers. That's insane. So yeah, if the Japanese player is not ready, you can do a lot of early damage done. Especially if it's like a forward gold mine like this. So the distance between your base and the opponent's base is pretty small. So you can just walk in, do a lot of damage. This is interesting by FireFox. Usually you would expect to either have a big military follow-up with units continuing, trying to contain the Japanese player in their base, or you would expect a second town center. But he stays 1 TC, and this building placement is really good by him. Probably should wall this up, to be honest, if you're gonna be on the berries, or just keep the heroes over here. Good Minotaur positioning. This is a vulnerable position because I can potentially send in the Kitsune and the Cav. I keep forgetting the name of the Cav. So right now FireFox is in an insanely good position. Like a ridiculously good position. He is 6 villagers ahead, and he has the Walls of Erebus as well. So it's essentially a 8 villager lead, basically, at 7 minutes into the game, which is basically almost game ending. It's funny how I almost instinctively am macroing towards the second town center, which obviously would be like game losing at this point. He's trying to spam Minotaurs, which is very interesting actually. I personally do not like making a lot of myth units versus Japan, simply because it gives them so much of this Bushido. Like my heroes would like 3, 4, 5 shot him and like an insane amount of Bushido. So it's very risky. I mean, if you can get a game-winning advantage from them, then sure, you should, but it's just something to keep in your mind. Good scouting by FireFox. It's funny because I used to review his games, and like the most common mistake I would find is that he would not like scout properly. And now he's doing this perfectly. One Hippias over here, one Hoplite over here. I imagine he's searching for Mikos, which is really smart by him. But I am careful with my Mikos. They're in my base. So I realize that I'm on a very big timer right here. I need to get some damage done or it's basically game over. I am slowly losing at this point. Simply because he is so far ahead economically. It's so difficult trying to raid a Hades player. These sentinels are so annoying. But I think I got one villager pick over here. And now I am in a very bad position. So one Gav for one villager is probably worth it. Probably. Hopefully I don't lose anything more though. Okay, yeah, that's fine. One villager for one Gav. This was a really good raid by him. At this point, I took so much damage in the early game, I'm so far behind. I'm not sure what I could have done here differently, to be honest. Ideally not take the early game damage, but after that I was in such a bad position and his base had no weaknesses at all. So I had nothing to really exploit. I suppose this was a mistake by me, letting him hunt there, but then again, why would I expect him to hunt there? This was such a unexpected move by him. Like, why is he on the edge of the map? I've noticed versus FireFox you have to be very careful. He'll do the most random stuff. Like bull minotaurs into heroic age, just randomly sending villagers. You can't really expect the normal stuff versus him. This is a really good push by him, because this is not an all-in push, but it does force me to produce units to defend, which further delays my heroic timing while he himself is going heroic. However, I got a really good combo over here with the Swampland and the Kitsune, sorry, not the Kitsune, the Kusanagi. So this was a lot of damage for him. At least I think it was. He lost quite a bit of units there. So in my mind, I'm thinking at this point my power spike right now is to spam Raijus. I've already gotten the gold upgrade. What's it called? Ivory Netsuke? Yeah, the Ivory Netsuke upgrade. So my basically idea is to kind of make up for the huge economic disparity by spamming Raijus and trying to get gold off of them. by attacking enemy units and villagers. However, again, the problem is there is nothing to attack. Like, this is his base. Where do I attack? Where do I even enter from? This is his gold mine. No, wait, this is his gold mine? He's gonna make a fortress on his gold mine anyway. So, not a lot of positions for me to attack. Very, very aggressive fortress by him. Classic FireFox move. Sometimes I don't even need to scout, like, yeah, see, I'm not even scouting. To be honest, I figured it would be over here, but yeah. You just know he's gonna throw up a fortress in your face. But then again, versus him, if you expect him to throw up a fortress in your face, he won't do it. He would have a fortress right here and he would be going fast mythic. So versus FireFox, I've noticed you have to scout always, every time. I sent a Raiju over here, I got really lucky, managed to pick off, I think it was 7 of his wills, which is really big for me. So I managed to kind of fix some of that economic disparity, and I got a lot of gold off of it too. Is it... Wait, let me just see real quick, how much gold is it? It's 0.54 gold. Wait, what? 0. Okay, that's for Titan. 0.4 gold. So this is what, 80, 75 gold? So this, see, this is the problem with what FireFox is doing, right? Because he threw up a forward fortress in my face, which kind of forces me to defend. And then he's trying to go mythic behind it. So I have, basically, I have an military superiority right now. And I have a god power as well. He does too, but mine's better. So this is a really risky move by him. Not sure if I like it that much. Like, would this not be better off just make it over here? So he can go mythic safely without having to worry about this. And you can see my goal just absolutely shoot up because of these Raijus. 1700 damage. Some of that is versus buildings and sentinels, but still. So I've gotten this score lead as well. He's at 48 pop right now. That's insane. This was a really risky move by him. I do not like this move. Just if you wanna push like this with a forward fortress and a Petropolis, like basically wanna siege down the opponent's base, you can't really expect to go fast mythic behind it. Because as soon as I see this, I know I have to defend this location. So I invest resources into my army. However, he was so far ahead, he could hold this location. But if we were like close to even, he would have lost his position. This was really nice by him. He deleted his Ajax. And he trained a new one in his base. I think he saw a Raiju of mine or something. Or was it just low HP? Yeah, I think he saw these Raijus. The thing with these Raijus is that they're really strong. They do a lot of damage, but they're basically, the damage output is very good, but their armor is kind of trash, almost. They die really quick once the heroes get on top of them. So you have to be super careful. It's a good thing they're really fast though, so it's not that much of a problem. And the classic, yeah, immediate Forge of Olympus. This is such a huge power spike for Greek. Because within like a minute or 2 minutes, he's got 3 armories. So within a minute, he's going to have like full iron versus my basically no upgrade. However, I do have the Susanoo special, the god powers. So I'm not in a terrible position, and I've got 5 Mikos out as well. I see a lot of Susanoo players just kind of relying on the Bushido and not investing in Mikos, which is a huge mistake. Like, If you have such good synergy with the myth units and the god powers, why not invest in Mikas, right? Should take like full advantage of the benefit, of the god benefit that you have. I'm in a very, very like strong position right now, but I'm also on a very big timer. So this fight is really important. However, if I was FireFox, I would probably just sack this location. There's absolutely no reason to fight this at all. Like, his army was not going to win, ever. Especially since he didn't even have the armory upgrades. So this was a very weird fight by him, actually. Like, he's gonna lose the location either way. But he also threw away a lot of units for it. Very weird decision by him there. And he's gonna lose the... I should have killed those, what? Did I not see that? It's so funny when you look back at a recorded game and you realize how many little mistakes you made. It would have been really, like, big to kill these. This is more than 10% of his eco right here. That was a mistake. He's getting iron upgrades, whereas I am at one solid copper upgrade, but I do have the Dragon Typhoon god power potentially soon, so that's gonna be a big help. I think I'm playing way too careful. Like, I've noticed this a lot. Although if this was a tournament game, I would be a lot more aggressive, I think, so I really need to stop doing that. And the Perseus just absolutely counters these. I imagine the Chiron is gonna... Yeah, look at the damage. It's almost 100 damage per hit with the Chiron. That's just me being annoying. That does absolutely no damage. Maybe like 1 second of idle time. Yeah, this was a really big mistake by me, and I've noticed a lot of players do this as well. I was watching the tournament games over the weekend. It was hosted by Boyd, Pandora's Box 2. A lot of players I've noticed, they get such a huge advantage like this right here, and then they don't like build up on it. Like, if I just pushed right there, I would have won the game, I'm pretty sure, because I had an insane amount of military advantage. The Perseus would solo these Raiju, so I have to be super careful. So technically I won the fight, I guess. Actually no, I didn't. This was a pretty even fight. However, this was definitely, if you look at it holistically, this was a really big win for him, because he's got an economic advantage, and he has a plenty vault, and he's got the walls of Erebus. So it's a lot easier for him to repopulate than it is for me. However, I do have this god power. So in my mind right now, I was relying on him to get up to like a decent amount of army, so I can use this god power and then push onto his gold mine. But I don't think, I think he played this really well. I don't know if he did it on purpose or not, but I never really got a good opportunity to use this. Like, I was kind of forced to use it in a very mediocre way, which did not give me the advantage that I wanted. Actually, never mind, that was a pretty good one. The thing is, I lost a lot of my Shinigamis here. They're really like squishy. They die super fast. Like an Ajax, like 4 hits. A Revenant Shinigami that is being healed, apparently. So again, I have a huge advantage, but there's nowhere for me to attack, and I do not have any siege units. I did, but I lost them. Sorry about that. Yeah, I have like I had at one point almost double the military. But I just couldn't really capitalize on it, which was a big mistake by me. I should be doing something right now. Either take a TC or like push. If not over here, I actually can't really push over here right now. But I should have been pushing over here. I should not allow him to have a weaker military and be out on the map. Especially as Hades versus Susunu. Pretty big mistake. But the thing is, his army, while the military resource value is lower, it is far superior simply because he's got the iron upgrades, all of them. So I just can't compete with his army at all. There was a big waste on the special attack of the Shinigamis. Yeah, that's the problem, right? If you overdo the myth units and don't have enough of the human units to kind of defend them, versus the Greek heroes especially, they just kind of melt really badly. So this was a lot of resources that just got wasted by me. Just absolutely destroyed my army. Wasn't even close. Now he's got a 10x bigger army. And an absolutely huge advantage. Yeah, this is just... Once the Mythic Age heroes come out for the Greek, it is almost impossible to have like a massive myth units out. Maybe you can do it versus the Poseidon hero, Polyphemus, simply because he's super slow. Yeah, just the Perseus just like 2 hits the Raijus. And also, once this unit comp comes out, Hoplites and Peltas, it's really difficult to like decide on a good unit comp as the Japanese player, simply because the Hades spell test absolutely destroyed the Yumi Horse Archer. 22 range, I thought it was 21. What? Was it always 22? That's insane. So it's 17 versus 22 range. Yeah, at this point I just kinda knew it was over. Even though the score is kinda close, I am super far behind. The thing is, I just can't beat his army unless he misplays really big, which he won't. Like at this point it doesn't really matter. I could kill like 30 of his villagers and it wouldn't matter simply because I can't really kill his army. If he controls it well enough. The Peltas just absolutely shred the Yumi Horse Archers. Like, look at the damage. However, he does not have his army over here, right? Yeah, he's got a lot of units just chilling over here for some reason. He kind of mismicroed the belt S pretty hard actually. Like this should not happen. I should not have won that fight at all. But again, he'll just repopulate really easily, and he's on 2 town centers as well. So he kind of keeps winning these fights, even though he's losing them, simply because of the economic difference. They do look pretty cool though. The champion Yumi horse archers. Right now, in my mind, I was hoping for like one big dragon typhoon that can kind of win me the game. Yeah, look at that damage. Just one small misstep and you lose like, what, 15% of your army just like that. I did not realize the economic advantage he had, so I thought one dragon typhoon could maybe like flip the match. It did kill like 20 plus villagers, but it doesn't matter. He still got like 20 more villagers than I do. All things considered, that was a pretty big waste. If I could somehow have gotten his army along with that, maybe I had a fighting chance, but this is just... yeah, this is pretty brutal. And the Mikos, somehow everywhere I went he had a hoplite there. Here as well. I sent 2 Mikos, I lost them there. Just the insane military advantage that he has. And I believe I resigned. Yep, I resigned over here. Simply because I just can't. My army's out of position. I'm gonna lose this location, and then his army is just gonna win my army. This was really well played by FireFox. IceFox, sorry. Especially the early game, where he just idled my entire economy for like a solid minute, and managed to kill off like 3 or 4 villagers, and then another 3 or 4 villagers over here. And then it was just like, every small advantage after that was just building up for him. So I needed to do really big damage, which I kind of managed to do on this fortress right here. However, I did not push my advantage hard enough, and he was able to stabilize. So it's important, once you get an advantage, you need to scout. If I had seen that he had like 5 units over here defending his gold mine, and he had just spent 2400 resources to go to Mythic, I would have pushed and potentially won the game. But it was well played by FireFox. He kept me distracted, and he made me think that he had a much bigger army than he actually did, which is a very classic trick that you need to be good at in RTS at the highest level. That was a really solid game by him. Now we're gonna move on to the other one, which is a Uranus versus Hades game. This one right here. And yep, okay, it's this one. So this is a Uranus versus Hades on the map Savannah. Yeah, it's Savannah. So after the extremely disgusting early game damage that I took last game, I tried to advance relatively quick this game. I just did not want to go through the same thing again with the 2 heroes and the Minotaur in my base at like 3 minutes 50 seconds, and I have nothing to counter. So I skipped the Eco Guild, which I usually build, these days at least, and went for the immediate temple, making sure I place them in such a way that I can defend this location. So if he sends the heroes and the Minotaur through here, I can garrison over here and go through this side. Maybe a wall over here to just prevent this, so he has to rotate. Building positioning is extremely important. Extremely important, especially versus civs that exert early game pressure. Think like Poseidon, Skriomi, stuff like that. Kronos. Though I guess it's a bit tricky versus Kronos, right? Because he can just deconstruct. So the one thing I noticed that FireFox did exceptionally well this game was hunt my oracles. Like the entire game. Pretty sure you killed like at least 5 to 6 of my oracles. See, this one right here. I feel like he's played so much versus me, he knows where I like to hide my oracles. So it's really tricky versus him. I have to be a lot more careful in the future. Just don't hide them in my usual hiding spots, I guess. The Promethean was a bait. I didn't really care if he died. I wanted to save the oracle. So I've got 2 oracles left now. And he's gonna keep hunting them. But the thing is, I've got sky passages, so I can just keep kind of keep hunting without having any walking time, which is a huge, insanely huge advantage for the Uranus player. So this is more of a 2TC game, a very boomy game, which the Hades player wants, obviously. Well, maybe not obviously, but the Hades player usually wants a boomy game versus Uranus. Yeah, see, he's just like searching for the oracles. He isn't even bothering to go here because he knows I don't really hide my oracles in the corner of the map like that. That's smart play by him. I should have maybe sent another citizen over here and tried to sneak these elephants as well. Get a sky passage over here. I mean, it's a bit of a boom fest right now. Nothing really happening. None of us have any units except for this. The hero citizens are really good versus the classical age myth units. This was such a bad play by me to lose that citizen for nothing. I could have saved it. But anyways, good early game pressure by him. I lost a citizen and a hero Terma. So these two have paid themselves off pretty much instantly. And he opens with a classic 1-1-1. Hippias, Hoplite, and Tox. No Tox yet, probably because he saw the Terma. So I imagine he's gonna wait for me. Yeah, see, he's still hunting the oracles. But anyways, I think he's gonna wait for me to transition into Murmillo. So then he can transition into the Tox. This was also really good by him. Forced me to use Shockwave. He doesn't care if he loses the Ajax. It's cheap. It's worth a lot more than worth a lot less than the Shockwave. So at this stage, I am pretty far behind. Well, yeah, I'm actually pretty far behind. Like, I'm ahead in the civilian numbers. However, you have to be careful because this does not translate as effectively as it may seem. Simply because Atlantean villagers are not as effective as the Greek villagers. They gather at 1 food per second versus... no, that's a hero citizen. I do not have... a normal villager or not. Let's compare the 0.9. So it's 0.9 with, okay, he doesn't even have husbandry, so it's no point in comparison. But basically, it's not like a proper 2-to-1 ratio for a citizen. They're slightly inefficient. See, now this game he builds a fortress defensively, which is funny because if he built a fortress offensively over here, I could not defend it. At least I don't think I could. Yeah, because he would have a curse, he has more military, he could use sentinels, and he would take out either my main TC or this TC. So this was a bit of a, I'd say, blunder by him actually. Like, he should have had a Pegasus out, and he should have been scouting how much army I have. So once I saw this, I knew he was going mythic. Like, why does he have the same army he did like 3 minutes ago? 2 minutes ago. So this was my cue to basically go all in the heroic age, because I just realized I was on a timer. If I just let the Greek player kind of boom freely and get to mythic age freely without any damage, he would just have the iron upgrades and his army would be unbeatable. So I had to make sure I was gonna get some good damage done. Another oracle killed by him. Oh, wait, no. Okay, yeah. I think that's the third or maybe fourth oracle that dies this game. Really good by him. Really nice walls as well. I imagine a Petropolis. He's gonna try to siege this. I still think he should have gone for the forward fortress. Like, imagine if these resources, instead of 2400 for mythic, were invested in army. And he would have had a fortress right here with sentinels and a siege unit out taking it down. I don't see how I could have held that at all. At all. Like, this economic advantage that I have, it's completely pointless. If I would have lost this GC, potentially this GC as well. So it's really, really important to keep scouting. Like, that's the one thing I always say. You need to be scouting all the time. Yeah, is that another dead oracle? Yep. This was really good by him. If you're ever versus an Atlantean player, you need to be doing this. Just keep hunting for the oracles. Just send like one unit through the edge of the map and try to find as many oracles as you can. So I realized I was on a timer and I saw this mythic age and I realized I need to go crazy. I need to keep raiding him everywhere continuously. I've got the military advantage for now, which I'm going to lose pretty quickly because he's going to have fully iron units. Well, I'll be stuck with bronze, if even that. So I had to get some damage done. I do have a pretty good like control over the map right now. I've got a sky passage over here, so this side is pretty much under my control. I've got like this location, the middle of the map, and I'm trying to raid over here. I believe that's my bird. Yep. So in my mind at this stage I was thinking there's absolutely no reason to go Mythic Age, because if I were to go Mythic Age, I would be giving him more than enough time to get basically a death ball of fully iron upgraded units that I just absolutely cannot deal with. So I realized I was on a timer, I had to keep raiding him, and I saw this 11 villagers right here, and I just sent my Cav there ASAP while raiding him here, while taking TC. So in my mind I was thinking that I need to get to full pop, get fortified TC, get 4 TCs, and take a big fight that hopefully I can win. Mythic Age would give me not really anything valuable at this stage. The Tartarian gate that I would get would not be worth 2400 resources that I would pay to advance to the Mythic Age. So this was a really good sneak by me, getting this GC up. So now I have a pretty sizable advantage because I managed to kill a lot of his villagers. He's got less eco than he did like 3 minutes ago, 2 minutes ago, which is really big. He does have the plenty vault though, so there's that. And he's almost full iron. He is mismacroing a bit. He's floating 1,000 wood while he barely has any food. Floating 1,000 gold. And he's also losing units, which is to be expected because the Contarius are super fast. So at this stage I just sent my destroyers in. I kept his army over here distracted. If he abandons this location, I can just like sit underneath the towers. I don't really care. He doesn't even have granulation, so he is getting it right now, but not anymore. I think this was a really good play by me to push multiple locations at the same time and to try to take the 4th TC and get the fortified TC, so what I said earlier. You have to know how to basically respond to what your opponent is doing, and you have to respond properly. Like right now, I just cannot fight this army. I would lose. Even if I have 4 TCs, I would lose this army. Simply because he has a far, far superior army quality. Actually, maybe not that much. I'm fully bronze versus his almost fully iron. The thing is, killing off a lot of his villagers really paid off. Because you can see his eco is in. Like his game plan is kind of in shambles. He's housed, he was housed. And he does have the eco for a good, decent army, but he can't really afford to constantly pump them. And just, he's losing more units. He's been stuck in the early 50s civilian count for such a long time. This would be such a nice shockwave. I was getting fortified TC from this GC. I was wondering why it got cancelled. So that's the thing right now. My goal is to just basically not fight him. Just wherever he sends his army, I just abandon that location. First, this location, I didn't mind him taking the TC down. This location, I don't really care. He can take this location as long as I just keep killing small chunks of his army. Never his entire army, but always keep killing a few of his units. Just keep sniping them here and there. See, I just refuse to fight with his main army. While I make sure that I'm picking off his units here and there. And then once this major army loses good amount, I just kind of surround it and try to kill that army off. It's insane how much damage these two do. The Helipolis and the Colossus. I wonder if this GC goes down. It looks like it will go down. That's crazy. 12 citizens repairing and it goes down. See, this is what I meant. You have to kind of abuse / use your mobility that you get from going for pure cav. You do not have to fight. This is a mistake by me, I think. Actually, it's fine. Most of these are villagers, but still, his army would win, I think. Simply because he's fully iron. And yeah, it's definitely gonna win now. So that's the thing. I don't really care about this. He can take this location, but I have to keep doing some damage. So I'm scouting non-stop. I have to make sure he's not sneaking some gold mine. You know, classic FireFox fashion. Wouldn't be surprised if he had like 50 villagers just hiding over here for some reason. But anyways, he manages to secure this location. I do still have the TC up, but it doesn't really matter. It's gonna go down soon. You can see the Colossus coming out. So at this stage, he kind of managed to secure this gold mine. There's not much I can really do. I don't think I can afford to fight under a fortress because as soon as I go in, he'll just use sentinels. So that's a really big disadvantage for me. I don't want to throw away my entire army because it gets really snowbally. His army, once full pop, it's really hard for me to repopulate basically. And see, this is what I meant. Just you try to pick off small chunks of his army while his main army is over here. I'm more than fine with losing this location. Why did I do that? What? Okay, I was worried about this location. I didn't want him to like pick off all my gold citizens. See, it doesn't matter. He can destroy this GC. But I should be at least trying to contest this because I do have a full pop army now. And I'm going mythic, so I don't really need resources for anything. I can afford to trade now. Just slowly trying to solidify my control. Slowly expanding forward with this fortress. However, this gold mine I need to be super careful of as well, even though I don't think it has a lot of gold left. Yeah, it's 2000 gold. But still, I don't want him to have this. So since I just advanced, I make sure I get my upgrades before I take a big fight. Shockwave here would be pretty nice. So this is one thing I notice a lot of players do. They retreat and then they just kind of take the fight when the army stops. It's really bad positioning because the archers are usually in the back line, so they just kind of turn around and fight while the melee units, the hoplites in this case, are in the front. So they have to kind of rotate all the way around. So my cav gets on top of his archers for free. I don't even have to fight for it. So you have to be careful of this army positioning when you're playing. I see a lot of players do this. Even the top players, they'll just send it. A simple trick is to like, I don't know how I could show it, but a simple trick is like this. When they're moving over here, the archers would be in the back line while the melee units would be in the front. If you want to go here, you just go all the way over here and then you just kind of click over here for 1 second and then the army rearranges itself with the archers in the back and then you attack move. So your archers are in the back line, always behind the melee units. Bit of a rant, but I see that a lot. And then the Tartarian gate, obviously. At this point, I know it's kind of over. I just cannot lose this game at this point. Well, I can. I don't want to underestimate myself. I've thrown a lot of games. But I mean, it's really difficult to lose from this position. Because I have him like contained on like 20%, 30% of the map, while I have the entire map. I've got good map control, I've got sky passages here, I've got one here, I'm getting one here, I've got one here, so there's no position for him to attack at all. Not that he can attack, he has no eco. The Tartarian gate is just being an annoyance right now. Killing off villagers left, right and center. And I've done my damage. I killed off a lot of his villagers. He's down to 40 villagers now. See, with Uranus, you have to kind of know which fights you take and which fights you run from. It's really important. Like, you should be more than fine. In fact, you should be happy to sacrifice one location if that means you can get an advantage elsewhere. As Uranus. Not as every civ, because you do want to make sure you do not lose positions for nothing. However, here I just think I tried to raid him a bit, but I realized his gold mines ran out. So I just realized that this is the location I need to hold. This location and this location. So I've got my army over here. I've got a good size of my army over here. However, I will not take a fight with either one of these armies without the other one present there. Yeah, see, his army comes here. I just run back. I retreat. I make sure the TC goes up before my army reaches there. And at this stage, he sends his army here. He's trying to secure this location. I just go into the sky passage right there. Hopefully. Yeah. Yeah, see, I don't want to take a fight. I don't care. I have more than enough time. I've got all the advantage. So I can decide when to take the fight. I take out this Colossus, and yeah, I see this fortress trying to come up, and I know I need to take a fight now, because if this goes up, he can use the Sentinels, he has Resto, he has a lot of favor. This was a bit of a mistake by me. This army needs to be going here. Yeah. But it doesn't really matter if you look at it. At this stage, I've got such a huge economic advantage. I can literally just keep this army over here for whatever reason and win this fight. That's it, that's GG. I think FireFox should have done here what he did last game, but with 2 TCs. Just instead of a defensive fortress over here, just throw up an aggressive fortress right here. Use Sentinels, take out this TC, take out this base, and I could not defend versus that. I would have sacked this TC, I would have built up over here, and I would have raided him a lot, which I did either way. But at least that way he would have had this location secured as well. So overall, this was a pretty fun game. I do think this map kind of favors Uranus a bit, simply because it's such an open map. Like, the Cav play is so difficult for Hades to deal with, simply because he does not have any mobility at all. But anyways, GG's guys, thank you all for watching, and I will see you soon, hopefully.